With the release of the Sinnoh remakes, it got me wanting to play a previous remake which I remember having a lot of fun with in my bug run, Omegaruby. These games aren't the most difficult by any means, but I thought it would be a challenge to beat Pokemon Omegaruby with only dark types. We have a pretty good roster with the likes of Absol, Sharpedo, and even Mandibuzz. Yeah, that's right, Mandibuzz. After catching or defeating Primal Groudon, Steven will give us the Eon Flute, which gives us access to Murkrow in the sky and Volibee in one of the Mirage Mountains. So that should make this pretty interesting. Also, I chose Omegaruby, which has the exclusive Shiftry, which will give us 2 Pokemon for Brawly, whereas with Alpha Sapphire, we'd get Sableye, but Sableye is actually caught after you defeat Brawly. If you guys want to pause the video, the rules are on the screen or in the description. But anyways, if you guys do enjoy, a like would be greatly appreciated, as well as hitting that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. We're almost there, and I can feel it. Let's get started, shall we? We start off by experiencing a bit of child neglect in the back of a moving truck, and I gotta say, who the hell is in the passenger seat of the truck? Because it's not Dad. But we head on inside and see 3 Machokes moving things for us. I hope you paid these guys good, Mom. They're doing a stellar job. So we do have to pick up this Trico to fight Brendan, but right after this, we can catch this Pooch on the first route. We name her Deanne, and she has a bold nature, which is just terrible. Regardless, we can immediately go to the next route to search for our next encounter, that being C-Dot. Our first encounter, though, actually happens to be that rare Ralts. How lucky. Once we find our C-Dot, we name him Meliodas, and he has a timid nature, which is also really bad. Great. Meliodas is not dark type yet, however he will evolve into Nuzleaf at the level cap for our first gym fight, which is clutch. Hey Dad, finished moving in. Well, yeah, without your help, you lazy slob. Oh look, Wally's just as lucky as us with his Ralts luck. Too bad he's up. After helping some guy in distress thanks to a Magma Grunt in Petalburg Woods, we can go ahead and head on into Rustboro City for our first fight against Roxanne. Of course, right before we can take her on, we evolve our little C-Dot into a Nuzleaf, which gains the dark type. This battle shouldn't be too hard. We can go ahead and set up a growth as she Rock Tombs us. After getting her down to her sturdy, another Rock Tomb pops her Oranberry. She does have a potion, but luckily for us, that won't heal her to full, so 1 more Razor Leaf is enough to take care of Geodude. Her second Pokemon is a Nosepass who has decent defenses. Thankfully, she goes for Harden and Tackle, so she's not really a threat. 3 Razor Leafs later, and our first gym badge is ours. Oh, would you stop letting people rob you? I'm already tired of helping, and it's only been like 30 minutes. And that's saying something, because I didn't even help unpack. Alright? Just hand over the bird, and no one gets hurt. Well, maybe you're Poochyena, but just give me the bird. Once Pico is saved, Mr. Briny is so kind to give us a ride to Dewford on his boat. So this next gym is a problem because we're actually weak to it. I even died to one of the trainers on one of my previous attempts. Basically, Brawly has 2 Pokemon, a Machop and a Makuhita. Unfortunately, the level cap is at 16, so we can't evolve Pooch just yet. The only way we win this is if we Sand Attack, switch in safely, and start setting up on Machop with Meliodas. From there, we just have to hope he misses a whole bunch of times. I still remember that this is Gen 6 and Super Training is a thing, so I EV trained Deanne in max HP and defense, and Meliodas to max attack and near max speed. Basically, after 5 attempts, thank God we have the run we need to beat this. Turn 1, I Sand Attack and he misses a Karate Chop. Turn 2, we Sand Attack and he misses a Leer. Turn 3, we get another Sand Attack off, and Brawly actually hits his Karate Chop, leaving us at half of our health, popping our own berry. I go for a 4th Sand Attack as he misses yet again, and a 5th one for him to miss another, and since he missed all of those, might as well go for a 6th for him to miss his final one on Deanne. This means we've successfully saved Deanne from death. Meliodas can come in now, on a miss, and the following turn we can go for a Torment so he won't go for Karate Chop twice, in case we get unlucky with the miss. I start setting up as he goes for a Leer to lower our defense, and we can get to +3 safely with him using just Bulk Up on the 3rd turn. 1 Razor Leaf KOs Machop, and we level up to level 17. 1 single Razor Leaf is enough to KO his Makuhita, and that is how you beat Brawly, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little strategy and a lot of luck. It's probably one of the hardest fights in this challenge. Well anyways, after talking to Steven and delivering a letter because it seems we're everyone's helper in this game, we can head all the way to Route 110 to take on May. Right before fighting her though, Deanne decides to evolve into a Mightyena, which has the most useful ability in the game, Intimidate. So May leads Wailmer and I lead Deanne, which learned Roar, so we can roar Wailmer out into Shroomish to set up with Meliodas. We switch in safely on a leech seed and I immediately go back into Deanne to get an Intimidate off so that his headbutt does less damage. And might as well Snarl to lower his special attack as well. From here we can go back into Meliodas, and oddly enough he did go for a leech seed on our switch. Now we just growth to +5, and on the 5th growth he actually crits us, popping our Oranberry. We hit a Rock Tomb next turn and down goes Shroomish. Down goes Combuskin, and down goes Wailmer to a Razor Leaf. We missed Rock Tomb on Combustion, and we might have been burnt to a crisp. Wally, take your uncle's advice.
You're trash, Wally.
So Watson is a cakewalk for us. In Mauville, we bought the TM for Power Up Punch, so I used it once on Magnemite to get him to half and get an attack boost. And he actually Volt Switched into Magneton. I am able to get Magneton to half, but he just Volt Switched and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of damage. But yeah, it was just a crit. Pretty much everything from here is dead. Magnemite dies, so does Magneton, and Voltorb is, well, a Voltorb. Honestly, I don't even know if Watson cares that he lost.
Yo, bro, who got you smiling like that?
Alright, let's fast forward to Mount Chimney, where we can fight Maxie. Maxie has this annoying Mightyena who knows Swagger, so I lead Diane because his Mightyena is obviously going to intimidate us. I switch immediately into Meliodas to take a Snarl to the face. Now we can Power Up Punch, and he does go for that Swagger, which we have a Prison Berry for, and the following turn at +3 attack, Mightyena goes down. After this Fire Camel comes out, and a Leaf Blade is enough to KO, and we do outspeed Golbat with those Speed EVs, so we hit a Rock Tomb, and bye-bye Golbat. Who cares about type matchups, am I right? Now, unfortunately, Nuzleaf leveled past the cap, so we can't use him for the next gym, which sucks because all we have is Deanne. This is scary now because this Slugma hits hard with Overheat, and we can't heal, and we need Deanne to hold a Soft Sand instead of a Citrus Berry, so we can kill everything at +3. So we start off, and I immediately Torment with Deanne, as she luckily just goes for a Sunny Day. The next turn, she actually misses a big Overheat, and we can get a Howl off. Since we Tormented, she won't go for that Overheat twice, and she went for a Light Screen this time, so we can get a second Howl off. Finally, I Howl a third time, and she Overheats us to 32 HP. Since she's not going for it again, I actually Howl to +4 because at +3, there's the tiniest little bittiest of chance that we can't kill Torkoal, but a Dig can take out Slugma just fine. Once our Torkoal is out, a Dig is fortunate enough to KO from full, and of course, Numel stands no chance. This was a very lucky fight, and that could have sent us right back to Roxanne. That was my fault for overleveling Meliodas on accident. Anyways, right after this gym, we can head into the desert to get our third encounter, Cacnea. I've never used a Cacnea before. He has a gentle nature, and we name him King for that crown on his head. Our next gym is right around the corner, and our dad's Slackings are no joke. We don't get Protect until Lily Cove City, so we can't just Protect on Slacking's attacking turns. Cacnea would have Spiky Shield when it evolves, but the cap is 30 and he evolves at 32, so that's out the window. Basically, I need to evolve Nuzleaf right now. The only way to get a Leaf Stone at this point in the game is to grind out Super Training until I get one from the Venusaur balloon. This actually only took like 20 to 30 minutes, so it wasn't bad at all. And once we have it, our beautiful Meliodas is now a Shiftry. Now I can come up with a decent strat with Swords Dance. Dad leads a Slacking with Yawn and Retaliate, which could be annoying / scary. I lead Deanne to intimidate Slacking off rip. Once that is done, I hard switch into King, who gets Yawned. I just wanted to go back into Deanne to intimidate a second time, but since he only used Yawn, I stayed in a turn to Sand Attack for free. From here, out comes Diane on an Encore, and once Slacking is -2 attack, we switch into Meliodas on his Truant turn for free. Now we Fake Out on his attacking turn so we can set up one more Swords Dance on his Truant turn and another on his attacking turn. He just went for Yawn again, and unfortunately I do not have a berry for it, but either way I get another Swords Dance up to get to max attack. Once we're set up, we fall asleep, but he just uses Encore, and we wake up in 2 turns, so a Leaf Blade can kill this Slacking no problem. When Vigoroth comes out, a Leaf Blade takes it out as well, and for this level 30 Slacking, he also gets one shot. We needed to be max attack to KO this one. Well, that's it, Dad. I guess we know who's the better trainer in the family. Now, the question is, should you be ashamed or proud? You decide. Since we finally have Surf, we can obtain the Good Rod, and this allows us to get 2 encounters. One in Petalburg being Corphish, which I named Elizabeth and has Shell Armor, and the other being Carvania, being a 5% chance to encounter, while I caught one, and it's a Calm Nature, which I named Jericho. Right away, I evolved them into their final forms, and they both look very elegant. After pushing through Route 119, fighting Team Magma at the weather station, and destroying our rival once more, we arrived to the coolest city in Pokemon history, Fortree City. Now, Winona is a gym leader here, but there's an encounter I'd like to get on the route to the right, and that would be a fan favorite, Absol, the disaster Pokemon. Now, many people say that Absol only appears when a disaster is about to happen. So whether that disaster is for me or for Winona, we are about to find out. Anyways, after what seemed like a century, we finally caught it, and unfortunately it's a female, but oh well. You shall still be named Bon. Oh, thank God we got Super Luck as our ability. Now, I will be using Mega Evolution, but only if the opposing trainer uses it as well. If not, then we just won't even touch the stone. Over at the Fortree City Gym, Cacnea is finally a big ol' scary crow cactus. I'm gonna be honest, I never knew this guy had 115 attack as well as special attack. Remarkable indeed. With no hesitation, we take on Winona. Winona is always annoying with that Swellow having double team, so let's just roar this thing right out. Basically, we need Pelipper out to set up, and nope, not you either. There we go. So since we have Snarl, might as well lower Pelipper's special attack just to be safe. I did put a Parison Berry to cure confusion here, and her Pelipper actually gets a crit and leaves us at half. Once we've lowered her special attack enough and get confused a second time, we go into our newest team member, Bon. I immediately set up 2 Swords Dances, which is all we need with Bon here, and his maxed out 252 attack. Pelipper stands no chance, neither does Altaria. Nope, you either, Bulky Skarmory, which thankfully does not have Sturdy. As for Swellow, I'm surprised we outsped even with 252 EVs in speed, but anyways, that's Winona, guys. That Swellow can really sway that battle if you are unlucky with double team. One miss and sometimes it may feel like you're just tumbling down a big road of just missing and missing. Of course, you have to be pretty unlucky. Alright, so our next challenge is actually Brendan, because this time around his Pokemon are fully evolved, having a Swellow, Breloom, Wailord, and Blaziken. I sat and thought for a little for a strat and finally came up with something. Our team is really frail and only half of them are EV trained. I decided Shiftry could get a sweep off. I did want to roar, but the problem is Blaziken has Blaze Kick, Breloom has priority Mach Punch, and Wailord's Water Spout hits like a truck. You see, Swellow has double team, just like Winona's, and that can mess up our sweep. Now yes, I knew I had Feint Attack, which doesn't miss, but my moves weren't going to Oko Breloom until I thought, wait. Shiftry gets Aerial Ace, which can take care of that, and we can have Feint Attack to take care of the Swellow, no problem. We can only set up 1 Swords Dance because we need as much health as possible for the Mach Punch. So I led Shiftry, got 1 Swords Dance off, and fortunately enough, he just used Agility, and the following turn used Double Team. So that means bye-bye Swellow. Blaziken gets 1 shot, Breloom doesn't even use Mach Punch knowing its fate, and his abnormally small Wailord can't stand a single hit. Oh Brendan, you underwhelming boy. Speaking of underwhelming, the admins in this game are exactly that. Courtney literally only has 1 Pokemon, and it just dies. So remember when I said Watson was a cakewalk? Yeah, no, Tate and Liza are more of the cakewalk. They don't have their Emerald team, so a couple of Surfs and Leaf Blades from this grand duo is enough to secure the Mind Badge. Well, after that pathetic battle, Maxie decides to blow up something that we do have to check out. I mean, Maxie could have literally killed these two if they were in the middle there. Alright, let's avenge them. So per my rules, I only use Mega Evolution if my opponent has it, so let's go ahead and use Mega Bond here. It has a good ring to it. Mega Bond. I set up a Swords Dance, and he goes for a Scary Face, which I just magic bounced right off of me. I thought that was hilarious. Well anyways, goodbye, goodbye, can't believe I outsped you, and goodbye. Maxie, you're terrible at getting things done. I bet Archie would have succeeded. By the way, I just love how there's a whole bunch of adults here, but we have to be the ones who clean up the mess. And even worse in these games, I have to put on a magma suit because that's just how dangerous this is. And you guys are a bunch of pussy. Over at the Cage of Origin, we take on Primal Groudon. This thing is dangerous because if it uses pretty much any move other than Rest, we're pretty much dead. I let Absol to Perish Song, and Rayquaza blessed us with some Rest luck. Now I protect and switch into Queen Elizabeth herself in case she lava plumes. Let's go, Elizabeth. Well, I guess we had to get unlucky at some point, am I right? Better her than Bond, though. Well, from here, all I have to do is Spiky Shield on Cacturn, and there we go. World is saved, Mom is saved, and more importantly, I can brag about how I rode on top of a scolding hot Groudon. No thanks to you. So the great thing about omegaruby and Alpha Sapphire is Steven gives us the Eon Flute, and with this, we can find roaming Murkrow in the sky. This would be great, but there's actually another encounter I had in mind. See, if we manipulate the date, we can try to find a Mirage Mountain that contains Vullaby. After a bit of time, I managed to find it, and here she is. Merlin. Finally some bulk on the team. She has a brave nature. I EV trained this thing in special attack and HP. The unfortunate thing is Merlin here doesn't evolve until level 54, so it's useless for the next gym. Or is it? Let's do this, Wallace. I lead Deanne, who can roar this annoying Love Disc out. Out comes Celio, and this is not what I want. On top of that, it gets some decent damage off, and I did put a Citrus Berry on Deanne. One more try. Boom, we have Wishcash out, who can't really touch Merlin. But first I switched into King and back twice for 2 Intimidate drops. From there, Merlin can come out and get to +6 special attack with Nasty Plot, while taking basically nothing from Wishcash. We can roost off any damage we take, get our Tailwind up because Milotic is sure to come out with that Ice Beam, and 1 Dark Pulse can take you right out. For Milotic, this has a chance not to kill, and yup, we don't. But we get a flinch, which I forgot Dark Pulse could even do. After Wallace spams his silly potions, we should be able to take an Ice Beam, but he just uses Recover, and that's that. Celio dies right after. Love Disc misses a big sweet kiss, which made me really happy as you can see. And Seeking is, well, seeking a new trainer because Wallace is a piece of... I guess we know why you never became champion in these games. Finally, we can take on the Elite Four, but before we do, we have to face one more threat. Well, as much of a threat that a little boy with green hair can be. I evolved Merlin before this fight just to sweep with her again. I set up the +6 special attack once again, and his Altaria gets mopped. Of course, that pesky Magneton comes out, and I do break its sturdy, and would you look at that? Another flinch! Merlin's on a roll! Sayonara, Magneton, and Delcatty, and Roselia, and I thought we were going to get outsped, but psych! Mega Evolution speed doesn't get changed until Gen 7. Learn your mechanics, Wally. Man, the rivals in this game are just weird. Like, why do we even fight Wally at the end? Instead of, like, I don't know, Brendan? So here's the team for the Elite Four. Moves are subject to change, but we have Merlin, our Mandibuzz. She's a bulky bird with healing and setup. Jericho the Sharpedo with priority and good stab moves. We have Meliodas, our Shiftry, with that nice sword stance as always. He's been with us since the very beginning. Fawn, our Alpsa, with those nice crit moves, and we'll put sword stance back on him. Terrible nature though. King, our Cacturn, just being an all-out powerhouse, which honestly I've barely used. Finally, Deanne, our Mightyena, our first ever Pokemon with that roar strat since the very beginning. The clutch Intimidate was always useful as well. I love you, girl. Alright, our first fight is Sydney. I started off the battle with Shiftry, and we only need to set up one sword stance. And since this thing went for swagger, we actually get the +4 attack. Thanks, Sydney.
You played yourself.
Yeah, that's right, his entire team gets absolutely destroyed. Well, that was easy. Next, Phoebe is up and she starts with the Dusclops. I lead Bond this time, who doesn't even need a setup to take care of her. Dusclop dies to 1 Night Slash. Sableye does live, but poses no threat. Dusknoir gets bopped. If Dusknoir didn't live, of course you don't. And your twin doesn't either. So far so good, guys. For Glacia, I lead Shiftry, and this might seem bad, but we're totally fine. We set up one sword stance, and that Ice Shard does nothing to us. So bye-bye Glalie, Frostlass, Frostlass 2, Fat Walrus, and Glalie 2. Alright, this has been way too easy for us. For Drake, Altaria is his lead, as I actually led Merlin for this fight. As he uses Cotton Guard, I get a nasty plot off, but the following turn he does use Moonblast, which gets that special attack drop on us, forcing us to use an extra nasty plot in a little. The turn after this one is actually a crit too, so they really don't want us winning this fight. But luckily for us, we have Roost, so there's honestly nothing to worry about here. Once we're fully set up, I get off a Tailwind before we can take Altaria out, so we can outspeed Flygon. Once Altaria is dead, Kingdra comes out and a Dark Pulse can take care of him easy. There's that Flygon, and a Tailwind is still up so we can outspeed and kill him in one shot. We wanted to outspeed to avoid that Rock Slide, and this Flygon should be the one with no super effective moves. He goes for a Screech that misses and we can safely Roost. From here I get a Tailwind up after taking a pathetic Boom Burst, and we can outspeed the next turn to kill Flygon. Now we can outspeed Mence here, and that's the famous Dragon Tamer. Not. Finally, we can head into Steven's Chambers. I thought about this one for a while because its Aggron and Skarmory have Sturdy. On top of that, Skarmory is just annoying. I wanted to sweep with Merlin because she's the bulkiest one with healing. As usual, he leads his annoying Skarmory, and I led Jericho to roar him into Claydol. Luckily for us, we actually get Claydol on the first try, which is exactly according to plan. From here, I get an 8-turn Hail with Icy Rock to break Aggron Sturdy later, if I can get that, because maybe the Hail will end before that. But I guess we'll never know, because the AI just straight up switched on Merlin, because it literally has no moves to hit us, having Earth Power and Extra Sensory. This is actually the best scenario ever, and it wasn't even intentional. He goes straight into Aggron, which will take Hail damage right away to break the Sturdy. Right here, we're +2 special attack from Nasty Plot, and we need to be +4 to Oko this monster. Fortunately, he didn't crit with his high crit ratio Stone Edge, and we're now +4 special attack. That was close. Now we should kill, and nice! Good job, Merlin. That worked out perfectly. Cradily actually comes out next, which is even more perfect because now we can just roost off all the damage and finish setting up with Nasty Plot. Fortunately, Cradily did not get a boost from its Ancient Power, and eventually he does confuse us, but I did come prepared with a berry for that. After that, a single Dark Pulse can kill Cradily, but the hail damage might have mattered because it did have a chance to live there. Armaldo stands no chance. That Skarmory does come back out, and after hitting it a couple times due to Sturdy and Potions, it as well is killed. That Claydol decides it wants to come back for revenge, but nope, you're still dead, buddy. Finally, that Metagross is up, and it does Mega Evolve, which we would have actually gone first if it hadn't been for that Bullet Punch, which does laughable damage. And a super effective Dark Pulse grants us access to the Hall of Fame. Yup, that's right. We beat a Pokemon Omega Ruby hardcore Nuzlocke using Dark types only. You know, at first I thought this challenge was going to be straight up impossible thanks to Brawly, but but wow, I am just impressed by the setup mons on this team. From Meliodas in the early game to Merlin in the end, this team worked very well and I had a lot of fun playing and making this video. If you guys enjoyed, slap a like, and if you're not subscribed, I literally don't know why, just slap the button already. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will see you all next time. Also, get us to 10,000 subs. Love you guys.